she's related by marriage to Awkwafina. And I was like, what is happening? Like this entire village.
I'm Antoni Porowski. I'm leading 6 curious Hollywood stars on their very own journeys of a lifetime.
So I literally found out that there were 2 Florence Pughs in Florence Pugh's family. And just to be clear, for anyone who hasn't seen the episode yet, it was generations ago. They're not actually around right now. Although maybe they are, I don't know. I was kind of shocked as well, but what surprised me the most and what really shocked Florence is she was so candid and vulnerable about the fact that she had it was like a pulmonary issue whenever she was really young, and when she was a baby, her parents actually moved to Spain for a bit where there was cleaner air, where they wanted her to get better because of the quality air that she had in London where she was living. And to learn that she had an ancestor not only of the exact same name, which they did not know about. None of her family knew, and we told them afterwards. They genuinely didn't have an idea. And they had a pretty good knowledge of their ancestry. But to learn that that baby also had a very similar manifestation of symptoms was so eerie and not something that you could like ever even make up. It was kind of fascinating. And it's just a reminder of the incredible things that we can discover when we really do like a careful deep dive. And by we, I mean the team in Nat Geo, because I had nothing to do with research. I'm not taking any credit for that.
I was going to say, do you know if there was already an Antoni Porowski?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but now I'm like scared to find out. Maybe it was a pretty common name at one point, and someone told me that in 2022 or something, it was the most popular name for a boy. So the name is kind of coming back. Americans can't pronounce it. They're always adding an H. But the Brits are respectful. You guys know exactly how to pronounce it. So it's really, I always feel really nice when I'm here.
Another one of my favorite facts that I found out of the show was obviously like this village in Korea where everyone's related to Awkwafina, which is crazy.
You don't even understand. We literally, during a break, so all of that's true, first of all. And then second, I went, because I saw these beautiful apples and I was like, I want one of these juicy apples right now. And during a break, I took some money, some coins, and I went to this shop with our fixer, who is also like a translator. And we have one in every territory that we go to just for safety reasons. In terms of like negotiating, we always want to be respectful of local practices. And so they're like very helpful in that respect. And we go, and then I'm kind of like getting the apple. And then the woman is asking like, what's happening? And the fixer speaking to her. And I'm like, why are you guys having such a long conversation? And she was like, oh, she's got the same last name too. Like she's related by marriage to Awkwafina. And I was like, what is happening? Like this entire village. And for Nora to feel like she was missing out on a part of her South Korean identity, to end up in an objectively stunningly picturesque town that literally felt like a drawing, to learn that she had so many family members, to go from like so little to so much, all from the courage of being willing to go back to her country of origin, I think was just like such a beautiful message, not only as part of her journey, but hopefully inspiring to other people as well on their own.
Everyone you see here is a relative of yours.
That's so cool.
It's really in the DNA to make these meals together.
It almost feels unreal to think that I descend from a king.
For me personally, it's like I was desensitized pretty quickly because I've shared a trailer with my 4 castmates on Queer Eye for 9 seasons, and we have filmed in the tiniest of spaces. And so you kind of like, you learn where the cameras are, you know your positioning, and then you kind of forget it and you have a story to tell. And with these actors, they're used to cameras, but you also have to understand a lot of them, the funny technical thing was a lot of them are so obsessed, understandably, with continuity. They have to be in the same mark. And I kind of had to try to ingrain in them in as quick as time and as little as time as possible, that it was sort of like, don't worry about it. The cameras will follow you. Like, you just focus on like living your truth right now, which it was easier for some than for others, but they all got there, thankfully. But I think the bigger challenge that I didn't really foresee was, you know, they're used to showing up to a set where they have their lines ahead of time. They memorize them. Some of them think about how they want to deliver them. With this, there was none of that. They didn't even know where the hell we were going. They knew which city we were in, but I swear to you, except with Awkwafina, because of the sensitivity of the fact that we were returning to the country that she hadn't been to since her mother passed away when she was 4, we wanted to make sure that she didn't feel too surprised or too overwhelmed, because it was understandably an extremely emotional journey that anybody would have, had a lot of challenges with. But they were surprisingly down. You just kind of have to like build that trust with them and remind them like there are no gotcha moments. We're not here to scare you. We're not here to embarrass you. Like all we want you to have out of this experience is the gift of stories that you're going to be able to pass on to other people, and hopefully dishes that you're going to make.
Are you excited for this?
This is crazy.
I'll be delving into their family histories and tracking down culinary clues to unlock the past.
I know that I think that I'll speak from what I know. I know it's a pretty extensive team at along with Nat Geo and Studio Gordon Ramsay. And on a lot of my trips, when I would like come in and we would have meetings, they had like papers everywhere. Like what's that movie with I think he's a British actor, A Beautiful Mind, where they end up in a tool shed and there's like just like papers and drawings everywhere. That was literally their offices for months. I know that it takes about approximately 3 to 6 months per episode of research, which is wild. And they go down multiple familial lines because obviously, yes, we're telling a personal story, but also we have a show to produce. It's got to be entertaining, right? And so you kind of go down all these branches and the information comes. Sometimes there are dead ends and we kind of have to pivot depending on who we were helping in what country. Like you have to understand, in Germany and Italy, for example, everything is public record. So you reach out to the government and you get that documentation. If you're in Senegal or if you're in Sarawak, in Borneo, that doesn't exist. They don't have the infrastructure for it. So it's oral history. They have to go there on site and speak to village elders. And because it's Nat Geo, one source isn't enough. It has to be through 3 independent corroborated sources. Sometimes we felt like we had a fact and I would say something in voiceover. And then a week later, it was like, sorry, you have to go back to studio. And we have to like re-record it because we're not 100% certain and we want to be factual with this. So to be part of something that puts that much importance on objectivity in the presentation of information is terrifying because you don't want to mess it up, but also it's like a beautifully like tremendous responsibility and you like want to make right by them. So thankfully it was an incredible team because this old little peanut brain would not have been capable of doing any of that. So I'm very, very grateful for all of them.